Hello and welcome everyone to another SSCAIT report. I'm Choboswaggins, aka Jealous from Team Liquid, and today we will be covering the semifinals, losers round 4, and losers round 5 of the SSCAIT 2020 through 2021 tournament. Tomorrow, Nightcat and I will be broadcasting the losers finals and the grand finals to close out this year's competition. I hope you're all as excited as we are. Last week, Nightcat casted round 3 of winners and losers, where we saw Stardust triumph over Monster, Banana Brain beat out Purple Wave, Dragon eliminate Marian Deveka, and Krazio P squeezing out a victory past Hao Pan. If you haven't had a chance to check out these games, I strongly suggest that you do so. Today, we'll be seeing Stardust battle Banana Brain for a guaranteed spot in the Grand Finals, while Monster and Dragon will be vying to continue their tournament life in the losers bracket, as well as Purple Wave and Krazio. So, without further ado, let's get started. In our winners semifinals, we see Banana Brain spawning at the top right of Benzene and sending out a very fast probe already. Meanwhile, Stardust starting a bit more standard here as the green Protoss on the bottom left. Now, let's see what happens with this probe. I'm quite interested to know what the plan is going to be here. Is it going to be Cannon Rush, Proxy Gateway, maybe some sort of other cheese? It's going to be interesting to see. In the meantime, we see a standard pylon being placed by Stardust, and it looks like it will be indeed some form of contain, potentially cannon contain here. No pylon back at home, so all tech will most likely be placed here, whether it's Gateway or Forge. In the meantime, Stardust gathering up 150 minerals to place down their Forge. Let's bring up that production tab. I can't seem to move it. Yes, I can actually. Sorry, I'm gonna move it down here because that's where it seems like we're doing most of the. I can't move it anymore. How come? Okay, there we go. It's going to be 2 gateways proxied, but it is 2 gateways at home for Stardust as well. So automatic build order advantage going to Stardust here. The first gateways are going to finish at the same time. Second pylon being thrown down by Stardust, who is ahead in workers because of the fact that they did not have to send out their early probe to create this proxy. However, there is still potential for a contain of some sort. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Zealot staying defensive for Stardust, not looking to any pressure. Banana Brain similarly not pushing up, waiting for 2 Zealots to do so. Second Zealot does come out before Stardust, forcing a probe pull for a little bit. No, that's just a pylon. Let's look at the micro here. This Zealot has to retreat. It's low on health. This one gets surrounded. Brilliant control by Stardust here as they take a Zealot advantage in a game where they were already advantaged due to the build orders. So in general, Proxy 2-Gate does work well against Cybernetics and Gas openings, but 2-Gate against 2-Gate, the 2-Gate at home is definitely favored. We see that the army supply is already heavily in Stardust advantage, as well as the worker count. So it looks like it's trying to shuffle around to see how it could better position stuff on the ramp. I would have liked to see it pull these 2 injured Zealots back a bit, but they're still recovering shields, so perhaps not the most crucial of decisions that needs to be made here. Cybernetics Core is going down a 3rd gateway as well. Looks like Stardust is going to be building into its infamous 4-gate Dragoon play. But first, it is indeed going to build up a sufficient number of Zealots in order to hold off any pressure coming in from Banana Brain. Banana Brain, in the meantime, is collecting gases up to 400 gas. I'm not sure if that's entirely necessary this early in the game. There's not much that you can build with that much gas this early in the game, especially after opening with 2-Gate. Cybernetics Core is just now coming up. They will be able to make quite a few Dark Templar if it comes down to it. If they do opt for that option, but there'll be a lot of pressure coming in from Stardust soon with the Dragoons now already on the way. Do we have the research on the way halfway to range upgrade? I would like to see it move out at that point. Disabling these 2 gateways would be a major blow to Banana Brain's production, and it should be noted that the worker count has evened out, but the army count stays ahead in Stardust's favor. Interesting choice to go Nexus here, actually. The probe does see it there from Stardust. It's going to all come down to how this engagement plays out here with the gateways in the way. It's possible that some good micro could help Banana Brain stall this out, and now here comes the engagement. First Dragoon gets caught out immediately by the Zealots coming down the ramp. These Zealots running around the gateway. Ooh, that leads to a bad engagement for Banana Brain here. Banana Brain wanted the enemy to run through these like choke points here between the pylon and the gateways if it hoped to take a decisive battle there, but unfortunately no, it is actually Stardust that does so, and with this massive amount of Dragoons is going to start applying pressure to Banana Brain's naked expansion here. Very quick turnaround here, very dominant play I'm interested to see why Stardust is not choosing to push this advantage. Maybe it's assuming that there's Dark Templar on the map. It doesn't seem to be too confident making its way across. I would have just 1A2, A3A across the map after that. We do see a robotics facility coming up for Banana Brain, so it's not going to be Dark Templar. It is going to be observers most likely to follow this up, maybe Reavers that Banana Brain is so good with. But with this army finally knocking at the natural, Banana Brain is woefully unprepared for, and this natural is going to go down, as well as significant number of worker losses. Though it should be noted that it is actually ahead in workers against Stardust. How is this going to hold this ramp? No, it's not. It's actually just going to fall back all the way back to its main base. I mean, the sheer number of army that was here for Stardust would have probably made it impossible to hold at all, but there was not even an attempt to keep them from coming up the ramp. Probes not being put to help fight, but I don't think that Banana Brain is going to hold on for much longer here. So, yes, Stardust takes game one in a rather convincing fashion, but that's largely due to the sometimes coin-flippy nature of Protoss versus Protoss. A two-gate proxy like that could have easily taken out a more tech-oriented build, but against the two-gate from Stardust, it just did not stack up in Banana Brain's favor. So let's move into game two. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more of a balanced game, less of a build order win or loss. Stardust spawning at the bottom right of Empire of the Sun here as the orange Protoss, with Banana Brain at the bottom left as the blue Protoss. Banana Brain again sending out a very early probe here. I'm really not sure about this decision. There's no buildable area in the middle of the map. Proxy locations, there's 4 bases on this map, so Proxy has a great chance of failing really quickly. It's an interesting choice to build it here. Technically, I believe it is at least equidistant to this natural. It is closer to this natural and this natural, as opposed to building them inside the main base, but it did commit to the diagonal option here. It's probably the safest proxy location, but that also means that it incurs the least amount of benefit. Meantime, Stardust looks like it's going for 2-gate of its own, and oh no. It's again going to be 2-gate against 2-gate, it seems like, and Stardust has confirmed the fact that there's nothing building in Banana Brain's main base. That does lead it to assume that there is a proxy. You see the probe scouting around and checking to see if it's an in-base proxy, maybe a cannon rush. Playing super safe here from Stardust. Great heads-up play. The 2 gateways are finishing up for now for Banana Brain, right around the time that Stardust 2 gateways finish up at the same time. And again, we see a difference in workers from the very start, 13 workers to 11. The economic advantage and build order advantage, again, in Stardust's favor. So 2 Zealots now, potentially recognizing that there's no opponent here, are going to start making their way down, hoping to catch Stardust off guard, but not going to happen in this case. I like this little pylon here, which helps complete the wall, kind of, here. The probe does get by. I saw a little attempt to attack here, but the Zealots are now aware of the fact that they are outnumbered here. And because of the fact that the travel distance is even further than it was before in the previous game, the Zealot count will actually stay in Stardust's favor, so Stardust could feel free to move out at almost any time, or at least contest and take favorable engagements against these Zealots from Banana Brain. In the meantime, Banana Brain seems to be teching up earlier than last time, or perhaps maybe that is what happened last time too, when it took the gas so early that it was backed up to about 400 gas before the cybernetics had finished. Meanwhile, Stardust behind this is going for a Forge Cannon, which is an interesting choice. If it was going for DTs, I would like to see the Citadel coming up at this time as well. Zealot counts are 7 to 8 at the time of at this moment, so the hold is going to stay true. The cannon is going to help out as well. Do we see a Citadel on the way? No, it's a 3rd gateway. The cannon is possibly trying to keep it safe because of the fact that this is a rampless map. I do like this decision. Dragoon is going to be able to help from behind. Perhaps not the most optimal arc here for either player with 4 Zealots versus 4 Zealots. Neither taking a favorable arc there, but the Dragoon helping out did manage to take on 1 Zealot from Stardust. I'm sorry, from Banana Brain. And again, we see that the discrepancy in army count is going to start climbing here as well. And actually, it's Banana Brain that is ahead in army now, so I take that back. But with 4 gateways, I imagine that the Dragoon production is going to start accelerating. We see that Banana Brain did opt to go for Nexus as well, and I'm not sure I agree with this decision to pilot. The probe is well aware of this. It doesn't go for any defense behind this. It only has pylons in its base. It's only on 2 gateways still. No production back at home. And even though these 2 gateways are not likely to get taken down at this time, it's still going to fall behind the production of a 4 gateway Stardust here. And the Zealots and Dragoons move out. Banana Brain thinks about retreating, thinks about engaging, and opts to retreat in the end because of the fact that it is now outnumbered 38 to 32 supply. The Zealots pulling back closer to their production facility are trying to lead the army away from Stardust, but Stardust with the Dragoons and the trailing attacks with the Zealots are going to do more damage there. Banana Brain forced to retreat all the way, and now Stardust is going to try to engage here at the natural. There's actually a third base coming out from Banana Brain, very, very ambitious, especially with no defense here. Would have loved to see some cannons maybe, or like a DT build, or fast Reaver or something, but perhaps being so economically behind makes it impossible. The Zealots just now reacting to the fact that the natural is going to go down, retreating all the way back to this gateway is probably not the most sound strategic decision here. And I'm quite surprised that Banana Brain has been going for this 2 gateway play. I spoke to Purple Wave last week when I was during Nightcast broadcast, and he explained that the build decisions that he's been going for, especially for Banana Brain, were because the bot has determined that this is the most favorable possible outcome. So I'm guessing that Banana Brain at some point has figured that 2-gate proxy is the best chance I have to beat of beating Stardust, so that's why it's gone for that build in these first 2 games. But Stardust, completely unfazed, has absolutely crushed it. And actually, in the meantime, we do have a counterattack here. It might take down this Nexus. Yes, it does so, but it's not really that important when there's no base here. There is one Nexus here, but no probes. Only 44 minerals. There is no recovering from this for Banana Brain, and Stardust cleans up that army as well. Banana Brain tapping out. So Stardust up with a really quick 2-0 here. Let's see what happens in Game 3. We have Stardust at the bottom right of Andromeda, and we have Banana Brain at the top left as the purple Protoss on Andromeda as well. They're both Protoss, sorry. Stardust is teal. And again, we're seeing that early probe. I think this one might be slightly later because it waited for the 6th supply in order to move out instead of sending one if it's Starter Breakers, I believe. And it is going to be a center proxy. This is definitely much more favorable position in general. I mean, it is still kind of, equidistant from all 3 bases, but it's less of a commitment, less travel time as opposed to last game. There is 1 gateway going down, so it is again going to be proxy 2 gateway. But Stardust, is it going to be going for 2 gateways of its own? Yes, indeed, it seems to be going for. That was a 10 gate, which is quite standard. 9-9 gate looks like in the center for Banana Brain. So this time it is going to go for gas, though, which is quite interesting to me. I mean, after having been proxy 2-gated for the last 2 games, you would think that I would try to continue to play safe with a 2-gate opening, but maybe having confidence in this ramp, though it should be noted that space ramps are a bit wider than a lot of other maps, or at least they feel that way. I know that Bisu lost a famous game against Jadong because he underestimated the width of the ramp. That was in their, I believe, GOM TV winners show match that they had. Anyway, 2 Zealots now on the way. Only 1 Zealot out for Stardust, and maybe this is where Banana Brain's proxy 2-gate strategy is going to work out. The Zealot's dancing around a little bit, but now gaining entry into the main base. It is going to be a 3-gateway follow-up in response to this, possibly determining the fact that it's proxy 2-gate, having seen the timing of the Zealots. The Zealots are not engaging, though. They do take down 1 probe. Looks like they take down another one. That evens out the economy a little bit. 3 probes down, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the Zealots from... Oh my god, what a massacre. Stardust was just not engaging with the Zealots. Only the probes were fighting. And now there's only 4 probes on the map. They're going to try to desperately hold this off, but the economic damage has been so tremendous. Is that 1 worker? Yeah, 1 worker left on the map, but I think that's the scouting probe here. And this is how Banana Brain has been taking down these games. It's been 2-gate proxy, and when it works, it looks like it just shuts down Stardust. I'm not sure about that decision making in the mineral line there with the probes attacking so aggressively without the Zealots. And yeah, Stardust is just dead. This is how Banana Brain is doing it, and this is why I keep selecting this build. So it's going to come down to whether or not Stardust opts to go for a gas opening again, I think. That seems to be the only thing that... I mean, that so far, that's what has been the determining factor. When it opens 2-gate, it holds. When it doesn't open 2-gate, it seems to struggle quite a lot. And to be fair, Andromeda has very long rush distances on average. It is a ramped map, so the possibility of defending against a center 2-gate is there, but not in this time. Not with that kind of control from the probes. New Zealots were not able to be produced because there was no mining, and yeah, Stardust is just going to get eliminated here, I think. Yep, that's the game there. And this is where I think I see why Banana Brain goes for this Nexus expansion, because win or lose, it wants to get that economic lead. So once it's ahead, it wants to get more ahead, And in this case, it's actually getting Dragoons a little bit before the Nexus, which is a deviation from the previous 2 games. Maybe it is adapting to the fact that it is already ahead. But either way, yeah, we're going up to 2-1 now in Stardust's favor. Banana Brain still has some life in it. Let's see how it plays out in game number 4. Game number 4, again, is going to be on Empire of the Sun. Banana Brain at the top right, and it is sending one of its starting workers again. Yes, I think it collected maybe 1 mineral before doing so. And Stardust now on the diagonal from it. So, yeah, Banana Brain, yellow Protoss top left, Stardust, brown Protoss bottom left. And in this case, the proxy location that it seems to be choosing, which is the opposite base here, is going to be a good one. It is actually instead going to scout first, it seems like. It sees the probe come out. Ooh, actually, wow! The probe stayed here, anticipating the scout, in order to confirm the location of Stardust. Interesting stuff, and now it's going to place the 2 gateways right in its face. The first gateway is already on the way, though, for Stardust. Is it going to be a gas or a second gateway? Because if it's going to be a second gateway, it's going to come down to Micro Wars, and it is indeed going to be a second gateway. The pressure is on Banana Brain now to make something happen here. It is a low ground map, so there is the potential to snowball if you commit heavier to Zealots than your opponent. Maybe during the transition that Stardust is doing to Dragoons, maybe there might be a slight opening there in order for Banana Brain to apply pressure. But actually, Stardust is the one that's only on 9 workers now. It looks like it did in-base 9-9 gate in order to be able to get them up as fast as it did. Banana Brain's at 11 workers itself and is adding Zealots. They are slightly later than Stardust's. Well, it looks like the second Zealots popped out at the same time. So now, this is going to be an interesting game. Because of the fact that the economy is actually even now. And the Zealots are applying pressure. Let me move this real quick. Please move. Thank you. The aggression is here. The probes are again engaging without the Zealots, it seems like. And so many are going down. This focus on economic damage when Stardust had already invested so much into going for quick Zealots and, like, you know, slow down its pro production. Is it going to go fall again? It's 2-2 now in the series of the battle of the proxy 2-gate versus Stardust. That's basically what it is. And it's so interesting to see how differently this game played out compared to the first Empire of the Sun game, and how quickly some slight changes in decisions by Stardust have taken it from having decisive wins against the strategy to 2 pretty decisive losses. I think it still has to come down to the probing, the way the probes engage. And yeah, Stardust is going to go down again. It's going to be 2-2 for Banana Brain versus Stardust. Incredible stuff here. This is something that you would almost never see. First of all, I don't think any human in the world would have the balls to go proxy 2-gate 5 games in a row. And maybe it's a... I don't want to say this word on stream, but it's a mind frick to an AI like Stardust, who, I mean, if it continued to just go for in-base 2-gate at the standard timing, it should have been fine. But yeah, looks like Banana Brain just exploiting the worker control from Stardust, and that's what's resulting in these wins. Let's go to the 5th and final game. This is to determine who goes to the grand finals. And the map is going to be Tau Cross. Stardust is going to spawn at the 5 o'clock base as the yellow Protoss, and we have Banana Brain spawning at the top right base as the light blue Protoss. And actually, it doesn't look like it's sending out a probe. Maybe it's going to send out the 6 because this is a 3-player map, so therefore fewer spawn locations. No. Is it going to change up the strat now and not go for proxy 2-gate? This is some mind games right here. This is something special. Alright, we do see the probe scouting after pylon for both players. And it looks like Banana Brain is going to find Stardust, and Stardust is going to find Banana Brain. They're going to intersect paths right in the middle here. High five. So they're both going to be aware of where the other player is, more likely than not. And both players at 10 workers. We have a gateway on the way. And is it going to be... It looks like the build order might be 12 Nexus for Banana Brain, which is viable. 12 Nexus into 2 gateways, cutting probes, can hold a 2-gate from Stardust. And yes, it is indeed going to be a 12 Nexus. We see that here. We need 2 more gateways here. I would have probably liked to see the starting pylon maybe closer to here so that the Zealot production is closer to the natural here. But that's not going to be the case. 2 gateways are done now for Stardust. It's going to start producing Zealots. It should be aware of the expansion as well. And it's going to be, yep, 2 gateways here for Banana Brain as well. So it's all going to come down to early control. If I was Stardust, I think I would have sent that first Zealot early. You do want to start harassing the probes as best as you can, because even if you can't take down the expansion nexus, what you can do is limit the economic benefit that it yields to the opponent Protoss player, and instead it's actually going to go for a really defensive play. I'm quite surprised to see this. 4 Zealots in the natural, holding the low ground, perhaps still in disbelief that it was 12 next instead of 2 gate, and this is something that human players sometimes call economic cheese. And oh my god, it's going basically like Zealotless into Dragoons, it seems like. That was a really quick Cybernetics core, and actually it's not mining gas, so I'm not sure if this Cybernetics core was at a good time. It did go for Forge at the same time it did add cannons as well. First Dragoon now on the way for Stardust, and I'm not sure about this build from Banana Brain. I would have opted for more Zealots, more cannons perhaps. Scouting Probe does go down. 4 Zealots are out against the 6 of Stardust, and this is a game. 4 Zealots out in the front, 2 cannons. This one not ideally placed. Dragoons that are attacking here will be able to take down that forward cannon quite easily. And it looks like, yes indeed, Stardust is going for its infamous 4 gateways here, and with a Force to back it up in case Banana Brain is going for a Dark Templar play off of 2 bases. But it's actually just adding another gateway. Looks like Dragoon range is on the way as well. Dragoon range is on the way for both players, actually. Let's see the progress. Kind of similar, actually. Banana Brains should be done in time by the time Stardust comes knocking at its door, but it should be noted that, of course, Stardust already has 2 Dragoons out on the map. First Dragoon is just now coming out for Banana Brain, and it's going to come down to a micro engagement. I'm quite interested to see how this plays out. 6 Zealots, 3 Dragoons with 1 following up from behind against 7 Zealots, walled up quite nicely with the cannons behind, and 1 Dragoon. I think that Banana Brain can hold this. It's going to come down to the micro. Probes can be used adequately. I would not attack in a conga line here. I would definitely not send out an extra Zealot out front. And I think Stardust recognized the fact that there's just a little bit too much army to take here. It's going to expand itself behind this production here. Worker count heavily in Banana Brain's favor, and Banana Brain is actually coming out to engage this. I don't think that that's a good idea. You have these cannons. Your Dragoon production is behind. It is 4 gateways to 3, I believe. Yes, indeed. Let's look at the control. First cannon goes down. Army retreats all the way back. This is a disaster for Banana Brain. Probes are not engaging. Army's not engaging. It definitely had the chance to hold this. Oh, no. It's going to lose the Nexus here and fall behind in workers, and now behind in workers and production. Oh man, I feel like Banana Brain was in such a good position, but it just kind of threw it away there with that decision to fall all the way back, and perhaps that stems from its decision to go way too far forward as well. That's tough. That is tough. Let's see. Probes are being pulled to help defend against this, but this choke is so narrow, I don't think Stardust is going to actually want to engage there, but these probes being pulled further damages the economy for Banana Brain, I'm guessing. 24 workers with about 5, 6, 7, 8 of them pulled to the front. Yeah, there's no way that Banana Brain is mining at the rate that it should be in order to match the production from 4 gateways from Stardust. Looks like it's going up to 5 gateways, and maybe, nope, 5 gateways with a natural already up. Stardust is in a commanding lead here. After what... The openings, I think the openings so heavily favor Banana Brain. And whoa, I did not see this. I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but that fast third base, that sneaky third base, maybe that's why it's staying in the game. And that's why the probes were pulled. They were trying to transfer over here. They did waste a lot of mining time. Army count is double for Stardust. So, I don't think that this is going to be able to be held by Banana Brain. Whenever that third Nexus came up, I think it was just too early. That's really what it comes down to. More army and a better hold at the natural would have been enough to give it a solid advantage in the mid-game here, but unfortunately it did take too much damage when it went out. It lost its natural and probes with the army refusing to engage, and it looks like Stardust is going to close this down. The Dragoons have now found the expansion here as well. Observer is scouting for other bases from Banana Brain, and yeah, this has to be GG. A tight battle between... Stardust and Banana Brain. Stardust is going to take it 3-2. I just confirmed the results. And Stardust, one of the breakout bots this year, dominating the ladder, started from, I think, like the late summer or maybe midsummer. Still very, very strong and is going to be in the grand finals of this year's SSCAIT. So let us edit that in here real quick. 3-2. For Stardust versus Banana Brain. That was an exciting series, even though, like, I think it's so funny that Banana Brain went for 4 2 gates and then into a 12 Nexus. That is the biggest heady play that I've seen from AI build order selections. I think, just cheese, like most aggressive cheese, most aggressive cheese, most aggressive cheese, economic cheese. So yeah, Stardust is going to be in the finals, grand finals, guaranteed spot. Banana Brain going into the losers finals and is going to meet the winner of this bracket here. Let's jump right into it. We're going to be looking at, one second, let me make sure I have it up. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. No. Let's see. We are in losers round 4. Yes. Okay. Yes, losers round 4, and we're going to start with Purple Wave versus Krasio, because that is what is first in my folder here. So Purple Wave versus Krasio. We have Krasio P spawning as the green Protoss at 12 o'clock on destination, and Purple Wave spawning as the orange Protoss at 6 o'clock on destination as well, of course. So Krasio P, as some of you may know, brother bot to Krasio's Terran, and it does have some gimmicky situations. Last week, Purple Wave explained that the reason why on, I believe it was Roadrunner, why Krasio had blocked its own third base and then built a nexus like somewhere down here to mine here and here with the cannon here, and that's because as a Terran it usually likes to lift off its command center and place it more accurately later on, but that was not the case. But anyway, let's just focus on this game right here. Banana Brain has been doing this cannon rush / contain build. I'm sorry, Krasio has, my mistake. Purple Wave did send out an early scout. Looks like it's sending out another one to confirm the situation. Yes, it does indeed confirm the fact that it's going to be cannons at the front, and it's going to follow up with a very quick cybernetics core of its own. This is part of the reason why this build usually should not work, and actually it's harassing the probe with its own probe. Interesting. This probe is at low health. It has placed 3 cannons. This cannon might finish in time to take out the aggressing probe. No. And actually, yeah, the probe is going to run back now to the safety of the cannons. This probe might go down. Yes, it does indeed. That was maybe not necessary. Opening Zealot also not entirely important in this situation. I would have probably gone straight up for Dragoons, maybe Robotics Facility really quickly as well, especially since there was a scouting probe that confirmed that there was nothing of interest in terms of production in Krasio's base. And it's going for quite a lot of cannons. We're up to 5 cannons now. The positioning probably, again, not ideal with 2 pylons forward like this. If these 2 cannons fall, it's quite possible that these pylons will fall as well, maybe supply capping the green Protoss. But they're doing their job for now, keeping the enemy contained. Looks like Purple Wave tried to apply some pressure here, did do some damage to the shields of this cannon. What's going to be the follow-up? It's going to be 4-gate Dragoon. This is a good answer to this build. I would have loved it to see if Purple Wave had kept a probe alive, though, because you do want to make sure that it's not going to be a DT follow-up behind this. A lot of times when a human, at least, opens with cannons, well, I mean, generally you never open with cannons, but usually what they do is they go for a Nexus, and then behind that they either tech, or they go for like 6 gateway speed lot or something like that. I have seen that build since back in the IC Cup days. But in this case, 4 gateway Dragoon is going to work quite nicely. There is gateway cybernetics core coming out for Krasio. It looks like it's thinking about a Nexus as well, but I highly suspect that the production from Purple Wave coming out some early for 4 gateways is going to be enough to push these cannons back. They did take down 1 cannon. Looks like they're not decisive about how they're going to take down the next few cannons. Looks like they are going to opt for this area here. 1 Dragoon does go down. These did not path that well. The cannon goes down, though, and another cannon goes down. Looks like this will be cleared up, but at a decent cost. The pylons are going to go down as well. It will not supply block Krasio P, though, who's at 34 out of 65 now. It was 73 before the fall of that pylon. And is there going to be some defensive cannons here? Because they are going to be needed. We do see the Templar Archives, but I don't think they're going to be on time. The Dragoons are now going to start marching across the map. There's only probes here to defend, no army to speak of. Templar Archives are going to finish, but it's not going to be in time for DTs. There is 1 Dragoon here. It canceled the cannons preemptively. It looks like it's going to dance around, try to micro. No. Forced to cancel that cannon. That cannon might finish. Probes are being taken down now. Worker count still an advantage for Krasio P. This cannon is going to get taken down right before it can take a shot. This Nexus is going to go down. Dark Templar are on the way now, though. Interesting enough. We don't have any detection here. We do have a Forge, but no detection for Purple Wave, but it did take down the Nexus, and now we're at equal probe counts. This is, I think, almost anybody's game, and it looks like a Nexus got denied here as well. And this Dragoon is still running around being annoying here. Probe's still not deciding to continue their economic efforts. 800 minerals floating, though, interestingly enough. Do expect the Nexus to be placed again, yes indeed. The Dark Templar are making their way back. What you do in this position as a human player is you block the ramp with as many Dragoons as you can until you get your detection up. It's okay if you lose 5-6 Dragoons, although not ideal, of course, but we do have the... why is it going robotics facility first? You need an observatory, my guy. There's no observatory, there's no cannons. These DTs could be hammering away at these Dragoons right now, and Purple Wave would have been in big trouble, but it does not seem to be the case. Looks like the Dark Templar are going to be pulled back for defensive purposes. The first Reaver is on the way. It should be noted that there's a very limited amount of anti-air units for Krasio. There's one Dragoon, although it should be noted that it is going for Stargate. If it reacts with, like... Ooh, okay, the DTs did take down the scout probe here. Looks like the Reaver is out, and the observatory was on the way as well for Purple Wave. So it is going to be able to apply pressure to these DTs definitely before these carriers come up. The economic damage did slow down the carrier timing quite significantly, and but Purple Wave is not choosing to re-engage. It's still waiting for that observer, perhaps. I don't see one coming. Looks like it made a second Reaver before it opted to do so. Is it going to go for a shuttle before observer? Because the longer they wait, honestly, this could become dangerous, because carriers, they're good against Dragoons. They're good on this map because of all the terrain features on here. You can always hide on the high grounds that are here. You can hide behind the natural here, incredibly annoying. Although it should be noted that Purple Wave did mine out this back mineral base. They're bad against Storm, and they're bad against Scouts. Those are the two easiest counters. I mean, they're bad against Dark Templar too with mind control. It's like, whoops, snag them, that's my carrier now. Looks like Shuttle is now on the way, and really, I feel like if it had gone Observer instead of Reaver first, it could have been applying pressure a long time ago. The Shuttle now is... Oh, the DTs ran a little bit too far, took some damage. Shuttle is... I mean, they're still being hemmed in. I don't know why the Zealots... I mean, the DTs are pushing so far forward. I don't know why the Orange Army is trying to come out against so many Dark Templar. Purple Wave is not reacting appropriately at all to these Dark Templar being on the map. No Observers still. And these DTs are doing so much damage here. As they are chasing down the army. It looks like Purple Wave was desperate to expand. First Observer finally out, takes out the first DT, but we already have the first two carriers out on the map. Actually make that three Stargate carriers, and 4 bases now. This is now a game. I mean, Purple Wave clearly has the scarier army at this time. There's still, pardon me, not a lot of defenses at the natural here for Krasio. Observers are now fully aware of the situation. Carriers are out here trying to micro. This carrier is gotten hurt quite badly, though. Not the best micro here. It should not be taking any hits at all from Dragoons, really. And the carriers are going to try to micro down these Dragoons, but there's just simply so many of them. It feels like losing its natural early on had slowed it down this significantly enough. If it had been at 5 or 6 carriers with full interceptor counter this time, I think that there was a chance to hold, maybe with more defensive DT play and maybe with cannons as well. But as it is, looks like Purple Wave is going to overrun Krasio P before it manages to get to those critical carrier numbers that it needs. DT is now out for Purple Wave as well. Should be noted that it is still mining pretty well, and actually the carriers are starting to take down some army, but heavy losses. 32 workers against 47. Purple Wave did manage to establish its third base without incident, has observers there for safekeeping. Probes look like they were trying to avoid some scarab shot. No, they were just avoiding army. The scarabs are being fired over here, and yeah, not a lot of mining happening anymore for Krasio P, as its main is basically mined out. This base has been harassed to bits. One Reaver just went down there, I heard it. Their shuttle is going to go down because it got kind of glitched on this high ground, and I did hear Purple Wave, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Purple Wave. Purple Wave mentioning, the creator of Purple Wave mentioning that it does have some issues with positioning of shuttles over terrain features, so that's why I didn't opt to go for them against Banana Brain in last week's series. Templar now out on the map. Templar, of course, being fantastic against Carrier Storm, doing a tremendous amount of damage against them, and Krasio P is hurt bad. It is now officially on 1 worker in its main base. It's not going to be enough. It can afford only 1 interceptor at this time, and can't help but feel that this might be the end of Krasio P in this game. The carriers are stalling a little bit, but yeah, with this amount of economy, with this production and healthy economy from Purple Wave, I don't see Krasio holding for much longer. But that being said, the Dragoon count is down to 2. There's only High Templar out here now. Some Dragoons are coming from the back. The DTs are in the base. And yeah, this is the last probe is going to go down. One of the carriers goes down, and that has to be GG at this point. So, yeah, I mean, I guess Krasio can hope for another drop slash disconnect from Purple Wave, but we shall see. Okay, I have confirmed the results. There will be no surprises here, sorry. Purple Wave is going to take game 1, so let's go right into game 2. It's going to be on Moonglaive. We have Krasio P spawning at the 12 o'clock position, sending out a very fast probe. This looks like it might be a proxy. Nope, this is the proxy cannon build again. I apologize. Purple Wave as the yellow Protoss at the 8 o'clock position. So on this map, actually, with the cannon contain, Purple Wave will not be able to take an expansion, but it is, well, with the ramp here, it's still difficult to come out. Krasio P did confirm the location of its opponent. It actually is going to be an in-base pylon, so maybe not the same build that we've expected from Krasio P thus far. It looks like it's sending its, maybe it's not decided how it wants to approach this. Do we see a forge? No. The probe is hanging out here like it wants to cannon contain, but I don't think it's aware of the fact that the Dragoons can walk around this way, but we have rarely seen AI make moves of that nature. So, and looks like Purple Wave came out and confirmed the pylon is here. Build seems a bit off for Krasio P, just because of how late these cannons are going to be coming up. The probe from Purple Wave is already here. It's already harassing this probe yet again. Chooses not to stick around though, and we see the same response from Purple Wave as last game. We are going for a Cybernetics Core, but I do want to remind you, last game there was that dangerous situation when the Observer was heavily delayed. There was no detection, and Krasio P could have done a lot more damage to slow down Purple Wave there, and possibly hold on to that natural base. If it had done so, I think it's quite likely that the carrier count would have been in sufficient numbers and to at least hold for a little bit, if not rebuff the attack from Purple Wave. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I still don't agree with this build decision of like 4 cannons in the back, 2 pylons going forward, and then like it's going to be like 2 cannons here. It would have been so much better to make like an arc here, and actually it's going to keep making cannons. We're going to go up to 7 here. This Dragoon is going to be in position to take down this cannon before it can complete. Might actually take down 2. No, takes a couple of shots here. Those are big shots. This cannon is badly hurt though. Looks like more cannons are going to continue to be built here, and these are really greedy forward cannons here actually. It looks like Purple Wave's response is again going to be the 4 gateway. Interesting to note that it knows that DT came out last time. Maybe because the DTs didn't engage appropriately, it thinks that it's not a threat. This cannon got hurt pretty badly. Is it going to get taken down? No. So 2 very injured cannons here, and it's actually going to continue cannon pushing here. This is really greedy stuff. I think this cannon is too far forward though. That cannon injured is going to get taken down. Is this 2 pylons again? Yes, indeed, it looks like it. I don't This cannon is going to be placed again. The probe, is it going to get targeted down? No, one of the cannons is forced to cancel. That one is forced to cancel. This one should be forced to cancel as well. Dragoon count now climbing is they're going to start pushing against these cannons, and there's no defense at home for Krasio P, who's actually delayed all of their tech this time because of the fact that they invested so heavily in forward pylons and cannons here. Interestingly, the Dragoons opting not to engage with these pylons here. More probes being sent out in a stream to add more cannons, I'm guessing. Interesting decision making here from Krasio P, who still doesn't have a gateway, still doesn't have a gas. Perhaps, I don't really know what to make of it. And now it has basically nothing. It's trying desperately to throw down cannons in Purple Wave's face. I don't think that's going to be a winning strategy here. All the cannons are finally down. More probes, an army of probes is coming forward to place down as many cannons, and it's clear to me that Krasio P, maybe not behaving the way as intended, is going to place down a gateway and 2 gases finally, but with no defensive cannons. I don't think it is long for this world with 4 gateway production in Purple Wave's main at this time. The pylons going down for Krasio P at the front, still sending probes out to try to take that base. Is ahead economically, but I don't think that that's going to matter all that much. This cannon is not going to provide much coverage at all for any aggressive options from Purple Wave, which I think we see now coming across the map now that the pylons have been cleared out. 38 out of 42 supply for Krasio with 0 army against 22 army from Purple Wave. Looks like I maybe chose not to engage, interestingly enough. Maybe choosing to expand, and maybe this will give some breathing room for Krasio. Who is going to be adding that citadel now. Oh no, look at this. This is one of those cursed building formations where your probes get stuck. Look how many get stuck here. Oh no, this is unfortunate. it has to build the Templar Archives, then kill the Citadel, but I don't think it's ever going to do that. We're possibly going to see more and more probes here. One probe did manage to make its way out. Now we're seeing finally a lot of cannons being thrown down here. Interesting, but a robotics being placed by, I'm sorry, Reaver coming out from Purple Wave. But again, is this pressure going to be delayed long enough for Dark Templar to come out? I don't think so. The Templar Archives was never placed. It seems like it could be because of the fact that these probes are trapped. Maybe one of these was the ones that was sent in order to do so. So many cannons! This is just cannon galore. Oh my goodness. These cannons, there's no way that they're coming up against this pressure. There is quite a number of cannons back here, but with 40 supply, most of it Dragoon, I don't think that they're going to stay out for that long. There is quite a number of them, though. Cannons are starting to crumble, but Dragoons are falling as well. They're making their way into the natural, and now with only 2 cannons and 1 Dragoon left, yeah, it has to be. Purple Wave is going to break through. It's going to start sniping probes. It's going to regain that economic lead. I mean, technically that lead wasn't all that great for Krasiop to begin with, considering the fact that so many probes were trapped here. But yeah, this natural, I think, is going to go down yet again. Templar Archives are done. The first 3 DTs are on the way out. They might scare this army away in time, actually. Observatory just now coming from Purple Wave as a reaction. Once they fight back these Dragoons, maybe if they run straight into the natural of Purple Wave, they could find some success there. And actually a third base coming up from Krasiop at this time. Reaver slowly made its way over here. The DTs are still going to be used to defend. Shuttle chasing with the Reaver in case it gets hit. Picks up right after the first attack. Landed on it. And it looks like Purple Wave is actually insisting on continuing to do pressure. There's now 5 Dark Templar on the map, I believe. Yes, 6 actually. So the DTs, if they run into the mineral line, they could actually take down so many probes here. I'm really curious to see if they opt to do that. But no, the Observer is finally out. 1 probe is down, though. There's potential to do some damage here, but with only 6 DTs, I don't think you can take this fight. No. More Observers are out now. DTs should probably head back home and buy time for those carriers. But actually, I don't think we're seeing... Oh, yeah, the shield upgrade, I think, is a giveaway that it might be carriers. Yeah, and we see the Stargate now as well. Definitely a giveaway that it is going to be carriers. The reason why shield upgrade is a giveaway is because it applies to everything from cannons to carriers to the interceptors, but it would probably be better to go for air armor instead. It is cheaper, and I think that's what we're getting now. No, that's actually Dragoon range. Interesting. Yeah, air armor is probably the best upgrade to get in this scenario instead of shield upgrade. This base is very much exposed, and with DTs now being beaten out by the Observers, the great amount of army that we have here, DTs of his own for Purple Wave and a Reaver, this base is certainly going to crumble quite quickly. A lot of probes went down there. Economic lead again going back to Purple Wave. There's just not a lot of defense, and the carriers are nowhere near being done. Purple Wave behind this has secured a third base for itself, and is going to start maybe knocking through this narrow passage here. Should be able to do so with a Reaver and with a complete lack of defense here. First DT out here, I'm sorry, DT out here for Purple Wave, and yeah, this pressure is going to be, I think, too much to handle for Krasiop as this base too goes down. And let's confirm. Yes, indeed. It looks like Purple Wave is going to be the winner of this game. Not much left to see here. So many probes stacked here. They just now getting unstacked because they were issued a new command to attack, I think. This was definitely not helping the situation here. More cannons are being desperately thrown down, but 1 carrier does fall. Dragoons here, Reavers here. Yeah, this game is over, and unfortunately Krasiop is going to be eliminated from the tournament here. Yeah, so GG, well played. Krasiop going down 2-0 to Purple Wave, and Purple Wave moving on into losers round 5. So now we're going to go for Monster versus Dragon. This should be a very, very exciting match. Monster versus Dragon. Let's look. Monster, of course, being the Breakout Zerg AI that came out a couple months ago. Monster spawning at the 6 o'clock position on Icarus. Yes, Icarus it is. And Dragon spawning as the Brown Terran at the 9 o'clock position on Icarus as well. So Dragon, we've seen it overcome a Zerg and Marian Deveka last week. Monster, despite being sent to the losers bracket relatively early, has been doing quite well. Well, let me double check. Sorry. not relatively early, but in a relatively convincing fashion last week is what I meant to say. Because of the unlucky situation where its gases were facing towards the ramp on both Fighting Spirit and the next map it played on, where the gas being forward to the ramp made it that the gateway pressure from the Protoss were able to take out the gas. Quick scout here from Monster is going to locate the Terran on its first try, is going to see that it's a barracks opening, quite standard stuff here. At the same time, Dragon is going to scout and see that it is a 12 hatchery opening from Monster. 12 hatch, 11 pool, nothing crazy here, very standard opening so far from both players. In response to this, what you would often see the Terran do is definitely not build a bunker, I'll tell you that much, but what you would see them do is go for a 15 command, following the barracks rather, because they know that no Zerglings can be coming anytime soon. You can definitely get away with that, but actually this Overlord wandered a little bit too far. Maybe it will get taken out by the Marines. Okay, if they pop out, they're going to chase down this Overlord. I'm not sure if this Overlord scout was worth it either, so couple of issues early on in this series already. Looks like the command center is going to go down at 22 after building a couple more Marines. I guess this bunker does help defensively in case the Zerglings push it back, but there's not that many Zerglings coming out. Third hatch is in the natural, which is not something you frequently see in ZVT. Main reason being is that you generally prefer to have a line of Sunkens to defend against Marine medic pressure. Surface area very important in this matchup. Siege tanks, of course, also could limit your production later on in the game. And another bunker we see here now in the natural of Dragon. Maybe this bunker will help against Mutalisks later, who knows. We don't actually see a layer on the way yet. 100 gas is done. It looks like it was a bit late on its decision making there. Did it get speed? No Zergling speed. So yeah, there was definitely something a little bit not quite right about that build order. You generally want to have that layer coming up with your first 100 gas as soon as it comes in. The second gas here does infer that we should be seeing a Mutalisk, and the fact that the layer is almost done with a Hydralisk down, so it most likely is going to be 2 hatch Mutalisk here. Only 1 drone on gas here, 1 drone on gas here, though finally throwing down 2 more. It does definitely have enough gas for the Spire, which it did produce here. Let's see what we have coming up for Dragon. Dragon going for turrets. These are definitely a bit early. The earliest that you normally would see a 2 base Mutalisk timing come in at would be like 6:45, 7ish, I believe. So maybe it's actually 6:30 now that I think about it. But so adding turrets so early, not necessarily the best play, but same can be said for adding the Sunken so early and adding the bunker so early. It's, I guess, better safe than sorry. But speaking of better safe than sorry, there's not a lot of turrets here. I definitely would have expected way more. Goliath production has started, but with 1 factory, there's not going to be a lot of it. This entire mineral line is actually exposed, and this is a great area to harass with Mutalisks. Third base not coming down from Monster at the bottom left corner. 3 Sunken is not exactly in a line, but it's not exactly something this number of naked Marines and a Goliath can take down. Mutalisk production has started, and it looks like they are going to be out in numbers. Let's see the count. We have 8 Mutalisks out. Not exactly perfect. And actually the science facility does get slowed down and denied. Only 1 turret here, so this is dangerous for Dragon. SCVs are going down though. It's not opting to dive in on them on the turret quite yet. The Marines have no medics, which is really puzzling to me. I mean, finally we get a first medic, but there could have been so many Marine deaths earlier. Looks like Monster not exactly knowing exactly where to engage. There is going to be a Valkyrie first. I like this choice. It helps hold against the Mutalisks. We do see a Radiate and a Vessel on the way as well. The bunker is actually indeed helping against the Mutalisks. Interesting stuff. Yeah, I feel like this may work out in Dragon's favor. 2 base against a 3rd base that is not going to lead to a 4th base. Mutalisks is being handled decently with Marines, medics, and Valkyries now. Goliath is also around, but I don't think it's been upgraded or helping much. Let's check the upgrades real quick. Yeah, just now getting the, looks like just now getting the upgrade for Goliath range, it seems. Mutalisk count, let's see what the count is at, 10. Against 1 Valkyrie, I did hear 1 go down, so it seems like it is managed to keep that Air Force down a bit. It's 2 starport now. Are we going to see Vessel? Yes, Vessel is out. First tank is out. Building positioning kind of sloppy is going to make it hard to get that tank out of this base. There's so much stuff going on, so much traffic in this base. Icarus is known for the fact that it doesn't have really good options for placement, even in the human world. Command center has to be canceled. Still no real good anti-air here, and with Scourge and Mutalisks flying around, the bunker's actually not even loaded, I believe. Yeah, it's not shooting. So the Mutalisks are continuing to find damage. There are up to 14 now Mutalisks on the map. The Valkyrie goes down without really offering much of a fight. Marines and medics are starting to chip away at them though, but the Mutalisk count continues to rise as Monster takes another base. 4 bases here. It looks like it is thinking about taking yet another one using a gas drone in order to do so. So, I mean, the Goliath count is still only at 2. The vessel count, the vessel count is not high yet. The Valkyrie count is also not very high. And another third base looks like it's going to be denied from Dragon. So Dragon seems to be unable to mass up a significant number of army to push out before the Mutalisks come in and do more damage, force the army to retreat. A lot of Marines just went down over there, even though there was a lot of links that went down earlier as well. Now we're up to 21 Mutalisks. And interestingly, I mean, Irradiate is definitely going to be most likely weaker against AI than it is against humans because they can perfectly pull away the injured ones. Looks like there is a lot of dancing here, trying to avoid the Valkyrie fire, taking the brunt of the damage. They did take down the Science Vessel earlier, it should be noted. Zerglings now finally making their way into the natural base, and so many SCVs are falling. Dragon is in a lot of trouble here. 52 workers from Monster against a 42 from Dragon. That's a definite advantage for the Zerg player. Sorry, just trying to get this in the right spot. It looks like I can't place it over where it was previous to that. Alright, this is good enough. Whatever, we're good. Looks like, yes, it's up to 5 bases now for Monster. Supply lead, which is not something you generally want to see, especially without lurkers on the map. 23 mutas in the air. Zergling count is climbing. What upgrades do we have on these Zerglings? Looks like we have 2 air, attack, and armor. The second one is on the way. Third armor is actually on the way. Is there 2 spires? Yes, indeed, there is double upgrade air. Looks like there's no ground upgrades yet. Kind of spread upgrades for Dragon, having 1 each of the armor and attack upgrades for mech and bio. Looks like it's finally getting the 2 bio upgrades, but I think it might be too little too late. Main base is practically mined out, unable to take a third base. Zerglings running in and doing a lot of damage in the natural. Mutalisk count still quite high, 27 mutas out on the map, and yeah, with this slaughter happening in the natural here, I think that Monster is going to take game 1. And yeah, Monster staying alive, 1 game closer to staying alive in this tournament as a whole. Yeah, that's all she wrote. Going to go into the next game now. We have Andromeda with Monster spawning at the top left as the white Zerg, and Dragon spawning at the bottom right as the orange Terran. Sorry. Cross map. I'm actually not too familiar. I think that this might benefit Zerg. No, this probably benefits Terran, because if it takes a third main base, it would by necessity have to be equidistant from both players because of the fact that they're cross map. Terran therefore can apply pressure just as easily as Zerg can try to defend. However, it should be noted that the air distance is going to be a bit closer than the walking distance, so Mutalisks can support a third base. Of course, based on what we saw in the last game, I highly suspect that Monster will most likely take a third base at the nearest third gas, even though it is a bit more open, doesn't have a ramp, and it is going to open 12 hatch in this game as well, while Dragon's actually going for a Rax gas build. Interesting stuff. This is totally different from what it did last game. Last game, if you recall, it did go for 2 depots into bunker. No, depot, bunker, depot, command center, I believe. So in this case, it is going to be a tech opening. Tech opening could definitely still work, but a sunken or 2, and maybe some SimCity would prevent vultures from running in. Getting an earlier Hydralisk Den or a 2-hatch Spire play could defend against any Mutalisk play. The drone scouting does go down, but it did spot the gas. Factory is now on the way. SCV scouts the fact that it is going to be 3-hatch replay from Monster, again on 2 bases, again interestingly built in the natural. And yeah, but actually this placement is quite nice because it makes run-bys a bit more difficult, I believe. I think maybe vultures can still go through this way, but if you place a sunken here or here, it should make it more difficult indeed. Let's see what the first option is going to be from Dragon. It's going to be add-on, so this could be mines or it could be speed. If you think about it, what would you do in this situation? Would you get mines or speed? And what is that building actually? Engineering bay. Interesting. That is a very fast engineering bay. the SCV has scouted the fact that it's layer, but the layer has just started. You definitely don't need the engineering bay this early to make turrets against any potential mules that are on the way. First vulture now out. What is the upgrade going to be that we're getting on it? Research. It's going to be mines first. It's going to patrol down some of these Zerglings as it makes its way to the natural base. Maybe lay some mines before it tries to run in. Nope, yeah, it sees that there's 2 Sunkens there. The way that these larvae spawn here and the way that they'll turn into eggs actually might block the vulture. And I think that this is a fantastic SimCity here for Monster. There's absolutely nothing these vultures can do. Looks like one of the drones did get glitched. Yeah, it actually gets glitched by this gas. This could be actually huge. I don't think it's going to happen. It happens on every trip, indeed. And it actually happens twice. This is quite bad for Monster, and it continues to choose to use gas drones in order to make builds. It's going to add its 3rd base at the mineral only. It is going to be a bit pressured for gas, though. I don't think it will be able to produce enough Mutalisks when it needs them, really. It should be noted that it is at 31 workers, which is, I believe, the standard number for a 3-hatch Mutalisk build. Like, this is very, very human supply management in order to go into a 3-hatch Mutalisk build. Now there's 4 vultures here. Do they have the speed upgrade? Yes, they do. Air upgrade started immediately for Dragon, but again, it's so low on gas because of this mining glitch that it might not be able to produce enough Mutalisks to do a damage at a critical time. It's actually going to be the expansion is quite early from Dragon. The Mutalisks are going to try. Oh, look, are we going to see a run by nose? An attempt, it didn't go through. The vultures are being hemorrhaged for basically no reason. Have laid no mines on the map, actually. Would have loved to see them go around the map and maybe lay some mines to prevent any expansion options. And the Mutalisks are here. Let's look at the number of them. There is 9. A couple of SCVs have already been lost. A lot of actually SCVs because of the fact that there's insufficient coverage here. The bunker is all the way out here. The turret is all the way here. And there's actually no real anti-air in the main base. There's only 1 Valkyrie here to defend. I think that Dragon overcommitted to the vultures there that didn't really do anything. After seeing the first 2 Sunkens, after seeing even maybe the good SimCity potential that Monster had in its natural with that 2nd hatchery in the natural, I think that maybe you could have taken your foot off the gas and opted to go for maybe a faster Goliath or switch into something different. We do see 2 starport though, interesting enough, only 1 add-on, so it looks like it might be Wraith following this up. But with the amount of worker damage that has been done already, Monster macroing up to 36 workers to 35 of Dragon. Zerg is going to be quite happy with that situation. A total of 6 hatcheries now actually here. Production is going to be quite strong off of these 3 bases. The Valkyries do seem to be able to hold off the Mutas for now. They are out here. There's only 9 of them still. The Vulture being a little bit annoying, but still not worth the early investment, especially after the losses of the SCVs. And this still could go anyone's way. Let's see, do we have Overlord Speed? Overlord Speed looks like it's done. Yes, no, it's at finishing up, I'm sorry. So Overlord Speed is going to make these Mutalisks a lot less effective. Looks like we have 2 more hatcheries being added for a total of 8 hatcheries on 3 bases. Make that 9. Wait, and there's a 4th one somewhere? Where's the 4th one? Oh, here it is. 4th one is going to be at the 4th base, which is the gas base that we predicted earlier. And actually some idle SCVs here from Dragon. Is it glitching out? I think that it must have glitched out. I think something must have happened to Dragon and it's just not working. That's really unfortunate because this game still could have gone on for a bit. It looks like it's thinking about taking a 3rd base. Monster is actually at 1,700 minerals now, so it makes sense that it's adding hatcheries. It's trying to spend them. Could be producing Zerglings, drones. I'm not quite sure what could be happening right here that is making this situation like this. The Scourge fly directly over the vessel without trying to take it down. Interesting situation there. It looks like I really can't tell you what's happening in this game anymore. This is messed up. This is messed up. Clearly something buggy happening here. We have some long distance mining, and maybe the replay actually did bug. Let's see what the situation is. Nope, it is we do have a winner determined for this map, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It looks like they allowed it to continue. Maybe we have an answer in game. I am going to speed it up though, because it does seem like something's buggy is happening, and I don't think there's anything I can do to fix it. We have to go with the show. We have to continue. This is what it is. Yeah, drones are not mining, and even though I don't think it fits the criteria of what was said before, the fact that new units don't do anything, because I think we do see some units being produced. And look how many hatcheries got thrown down. Oh my goodness, that is too funny. Yeah, new units are being built. We should see. Oh no, actually, new units are not doing anything. Idle vultures here. Idle. That looks like this. Nope, nope. That vulture, or was that rallied? Nope, it is doing something. Yes, see, look, it is moving around. So, don't know what to tell you guys, folks. The third base has been placed here instead of being at the mineral only. Some SCVs are transferring. This is just a really, really weird game. 60,000 APM for Monster. What is going on here? Oh my goodness, another expansion here. Hatcheries galore. No production though. 4,000 minerals for Monster. 2,000. Yeah, there's something clearly wrong with this. I don't know what to say. I think we might as well just speed it up and see how this plays out. Center expand now for Dragon. Interesting. Main base not even being mined anymore with all these neutral SCVs. Well, not neutral, not working SCVs. Valkyries static in their defense of the bases. Another base, more bases coming up. Idle drones. This base is not mining. This base is not mining. What is going on? Yeah, this is something. These drones not deciding what to do. I don't know what to tell you, folks. This is what we have. I don't know what to say, really. What is fighting here? I heard. What is the drone? Oh my god, the drones are trying to take over this base for themselves. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. This is the game that we have. And I think what's going to happen is maybe it's going to time out, because we do have a winner determined for this game. Don't assume that we don't. And maybe it's by points. Maybe some sort of APM limit was broken, because we're at 90,000 APM for Monster now. Touching on it. And 0 APM now for Dragon. Yeah, the game is over. That's how it ends. And we have Monster as the confirmed winner of this series. So, unfortunate that it ended that way. But Monster 2-0 over Dragon, knocking Dragon out of the tour. And that leaves us our final matchup of the day, Losers Round 5. This is going to be to see who goes into the Losers Finals, and it's going to be between Monster and Purple Wave. Losers Round 5, let's take a look. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. On Python, not a good map for PvZ. I've said it before, I'll say it again. On Python, oh, I'm going to go down to 2 speed. Sorry about that, guys. Python, we have at the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock position, the blue Protoss Purple Wave. And in the 8 o'clock position, we have Monster, the yellow Zerg. So the reason why I said it's not a good map for PvZ is because this naturally is just so freaking wide. This map came out before the popularization of FFE, or Forge Fast Expand. So as you can see, even if this was a gateway, there would still be a big gap here and a big gap here. I think it's impossible to block it with, even if you go gateway, forge, cybernetics core, and a pylon, I think that would just barely open this with like 1 unit gap left. But it is going to be 2 cannons in an interesting position, actually 3 cannons it looks like, and I'm not sure I agree with this positioning at all. They don't form a line defensively. They are all individually separated from each other, so that means that Zerglings can surround each one of them. In the meantime, it does look like Monster behind this went for an overpool. It's going to keep a Zergling out here to keep tabs, and an Overlord as well. Meanwhile, we do see no Nexus, actually, so this is a Trixie build. We have a Gateway coming up and a Gas. Monster would not be aware of that. They did not get the scout off inside the main base of Purple Wave, so this could throw the Zerg off if it assumes that it's a Forge Fast Expand. Some timing is possible. It's actually going to go for a fast third base here on the top left corner. That's not a standard placement for it. Normally what you would see is maybe at the natural, just because of the fact that this ramp is just so wide. And so is this area where you could attack. Zealot run-ins, Dragoons could all apply significant pressure to our base of that position. Meanwhile, Purple Wave doing a good job of staying alive with its probes, scouting the enemy base, seeing the fact that it is going to be a Hydralisk den here before lair, possibly meaning that it's going to be Hydra production off of 3 to 5 hatcheries, maybe even 6. Looks like a Sunken is being placed here. First Zealot is out on the way. And interesting cannon placement here in the main too. I'm not sure I agree with that. It doesn't really defend much of anything. Does cover the gas a little bit, but maybe it would have been better like here, for example, or here. It looks like we are going into a Citadel and a Stargate off of 1 base still, interestingly enough. So it's going to be 1 base SAIR DT potentially, or SAIR speed law timing. First few Hydralisks are out on the map now, second gas being added. This is another hatchery, so it looks like we are going to be going into heavy Hydralisk production before layer tech. It's quite standard nowadays to see that. I probably would not have made these Sunkens. You could have gotten away with producing additional Hydralisks in order to defend this Zealot count from one gateway. First SAIR comes in, scouts the enemy base, sees the additional the additional hatchery. It sees that there is a spore colony on the way here, and it should have probably seen this expansion as well. So actually here, this is where this pressure could have come from, and that's exactly why instead of building these Sunkens, you want to build Hydralisks instead, because if the Zealots had opted to attack here, especially before the second Sunken, you would need units in order to defend against that instead of, Sunkens, which you can't really exactly run with this Sunken over here. This is in StarCraft 2. In the meantime, still no expansion from Purple Wave. We do have 2 DTs out on the map though. It's going to take down this Zergling that's itching around here. Some Hydralisk Zergling pressure is coming in, but Overlord is coming forward as well. It's going to be in vision of these DTs. Now DTs could be microed down if they stick close to that Overlord. The Hydras and Zergling is doing a great job of staying close to that Overlord as well. SAIR is trying to apply pressure, does go down. SAIR micro perhaps not the best. They're all split up here. They're not attacking this Overlord that is coming closer and closer to the natural expansion. Zealot count is quite high. We don't have speed yet. Overlord finally does get down when the Hydralisks separate from it way too far, and that's going to slow down the approach of Monster to the natural. But Overlord speed is on the way now. Looks like +1 just finished not too long ago for Purple Wave as well, who finally establishes its natural expansion. Up to 5 gateways. Really got there in a really unconventional way, but this game is kind of panning out to be a pretty standard ZVP, I guess. No Spire yet, but we are on 5 hatch Hydra production. Looks like a 6th one is coming up on the way now. 6 hatch Hydra production is going to be a scary number. You want to either opt to... You can try to go for a defensive third base, especially on this map. If you go with the robotics, you can take the island here, which could help a lot. In this case, I don't think that's going to happen. The Zealots are engaging against the Hydralisk prematurely. I think they still don't have speed, actually. Storm done? Storm is done. 2 of them get sniped. Perfect dodges there from Monster. This is why it's so scary to play against AIZs. And Monster taking a 4th base on this high ground here now. Looks like it has placed Zerglings on the other bases as well. We know how dangerous that is. Dragoon here looks like it was trying to help set up an expansion here. There is a burrow Zergling here. Purple Wave getting confused by that. Trying to engage again. Another great split there from Monster. Another great split again. Storms are just not effective against this. This Hydra mass with this amazing split micro doing a fantastic job against Purple Wave here in this game. Yeah, Storms is just continuing to be dodged. Hydralisk production is continuing. Looks like it's turning into Lurkers now, actually. Lurkers could be dangerous. We do have Observers out on the map, but no Dragoons, and I still think that there's no Zealot speed. I'm quite positive that there isn't. Yeah, there's no Zealot speed. That's a very major oversight against Hydralisk plays of this nature. Look at all that splitting that is happening here. These Hydras are just not getting hit. The natural did go down. The main base looks like it's in danger of falling quite soon as well, and Purple Wave just kind of got beat up by Monster here. I mean, I wasn't sure about the expansion build order here. Monsters, even though it did add the Sunkens instead of making Hydras early on, it did invest less before expanding its economy, and as a result, we see a quite dominant performance here. 0 workers left for Purple Wave, and that has to be the game. I think that is it. Yeah, I just confirmed the winner is Monster for Game 1 in this series. Next game coming right up. And this is Purple Wave fighting for its tournament life here. Purple Wave, of course, has, I believe, won the last 2 years of SSCAIT. Let me just double check on that real quick for you. By the way, Purple Wave is at the 6 o'clock position of of destination as the blue Protoss, and we have Monster as the red Zerg at the 12 o'clock position. Looks like it's going to be a pylon in main, which is an interesting choice. I keep thinking that these that these neutral units are a blue probe. Unfortunately, that is the color that was chosen. It is going to be gateway, one base tech, and I do have that confirmation for you. Purple Wave won SSCAIT 2018 with a score of 4-0. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, 4-0 against Locutus and 4-0 against Beta Star in the following year, which was last year. So Purple Wave, one game away from elimination after 2 years of winning the SSCIT. Great. This is godly micro here. You love to see that. This probe has delayed this hatchery so immensely. And actually, there has been some spending leading up to that. This is something that's really smart play. Continuing to produce Zerglings just enough as, while your hatchery is being delayed. 2 Gateway is going to do quite nicely against Overpool. I think that the builds are quite even here. The Zealots actually not opting to engage at all. They're not even trying to block the ramp. They're going to stay by the mineral line. That's because they're afraid of the Zergling coming in. Zergling is going to see the Zealot count, is not going to be able to do much damage, and actually is just being annoying. Just targeting the pylon, run back. This is something that I like to do against lower level players. You get into their base with speed, and you start just attacking here, maybe combine it with Burrow. The drone does eventually go down, which has been distracting the Zealots. Looks like the Zealots are going to comfortably take their natural now. Going all the way up to 6 Zealots now, but no pressure forthcoming. No sunken defense either, though. Looks like it is going to be a 2-hatch Hydra Den. But the Zealots are getting distracted by the Zerglings. They are running back to engage against them, but the Zerglings are not giving them the opportunity to engage. This is wasting crucial time for the 2 Gateway to do damage. As these Sunkens are now coming up, the 2 Gateway timing has officially been missed, I believe, for Purple Wave, and it's actually going up to 4 Gateways now. 4 Gateway Dragoons. This is something that is potentially out of Stardust playbook, and the Zergling is going to run in. It's going to confirm at least the location of additional gateways because it knows that the first 2 could not have been here. It was attacking this pylon earlier, so it knows. I think that it knows about all 4 gateways at this time, and it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to hold. 2-hatch Hydralisk, and it should be noted that it lost to, I believe, 4 Gateway Dragoon in previous games when it was going for 2-hatch Lurker. Here opting to go for 2-hatch Hydra for now, which I think is the better choice in the way that it's been executed by both players. Quite a number of Zealots now, though. I think we're up to 7 Zealots, 8 Zealots, 6 Dragoons. This could be dangerous, especially if the Hydralisks move out like this and start taking incurring losses before they can take a defensive engagement. 4th Sunken on the way. This is going to be a tight engagement. It's going to come down to the micro. I would almost be tempted to run past if I was the Protoss here. Just run all the way into the main base, but that's not what's going to happen here. They're going to fight on the split bridges. The Sunkens are getting hurt pretty badly. This one goes down. Only 1 Sunken left that is completed. 2 more on the way. This one finishes just in the nick of time. Some drones have fallen. Zerglings and Hydras coming out right at the nick of time to defend. And the 4-gate pressure has been rebuffed, but the natural is now done for Purple Wave. The question is, did it do enough damage? Looking at the economy, 30 workers against 19, it's not abnormal in this situation, but 3 hatchery Hydralisk could still apply pressure against 4 Gateway Dragoon. Hydras in number are better than Dragoons. Let's see how the engagements go. First Dragoon goes out quite easily. 1 Hydralisk does go down as well. Needs to mass up a little bit more, but actually the Dragoon's taking so much damage from these Sunkens because they're wandering too far into an aggressive position. Perhaps not knowing when to take the foot off the gas in this case. Zergling has scouted the fact that the natural is here. More Zergling scouting around to make sure that there's no hidden third bases. Looks like it is going to burrow somewhere there. No, it's just scouting. We're up to 5 gateways now. Let's see what that is being added there. Robotics facility. Another attempt at applying pressure, but as Purple Wave hemorrhages units, the number of Hydralisks continues to grow. The worker count is growing as well. We were at 19, now we're at 25. And even though Purple Wave is up to 45 itself, Hydralisks en masse are just going to straight up beat pure ground army from Protoss. And I mean that, you know, like with no Templar, no Reavers, and as I say, no Reavers, we do have the support bait coming up for Purple Wave. Shuttle on the way as well. We should see a Reaver soon after that, I believe. Reavers could be interesting here, depending on the micro. Hydralisks can run under the shuttle and snipe and surround Reavers, though. What are we seeing here is going to be more hatcheries. Actually, we're going up to 5 hatch Hydralisk production now. This is kind of close to what you would normally see from human players. Oftentimes you would see it off of 3 bases though, or perhaps even 4 bases. So Dragoons, they just keep running into this meat grinder here because of the fact that they can only line up 2 at a time. Because of the fact that the Sunkens are here doing so much tremendous damage. I believe they do a full 40 to the shields of the Dragoon, so that means that the Hydralisks don't have to engage as often, their numbers can grow, and this Protoss army, if it would be so much stronger if it hadn't lost like the past 8 or 10 Dragoons that we saw die on this bridge here. Not sure of how to engage. The Reaver is on the way though. I believe that should be the second Reaver actually. Yes indeed, we do have one already here. It's loaded up into the shuttle, but Purple Wave did mention that it's been having problems with, well, the creator of Purple Wave mentioned that it has been having problems with being able to drop on weird terrain. We definitely have a lot of that weird terrain here on this map, so it's going to come down to engages. I love the fact of how Monster is lined up here to rebuff any sort of attacks that come in. The Zerglings run forward a little bit to try to engage. They see that they don't need to because the retreat is happening. Runs all the way back to the sunken line again. And looking at the army now, we're at 31 Hydras, 15 Zerglings against 24 Dragoons. Reaver is out now. Reaver could do a lot of damage to those Zerglings and actually almost reached all the way back into that sunken line here. Purple Wave taking a third base now though, so as Protoss climbs in base count, this could become dangerous for Monster. Oh, the Scourge are out now though, so the Scourge could take down the shuttle, which would hinder the mobility of the Reaver, so I think that one big engagement might decide it here. It's going to depend on how the Reavers function, how the Scourge engage, how the Zerg army engages, what the Scarab hits are like. Scarab hits are so random at times about how they hit. Reaver is trying to inch forward. It's inside sunken range. Gets picked up really well. More Sunkens are being thrown down defensively. Sunkens, I don't know if they're going to work against the Reavers that well. Reavers do seem to be firing decently. They're not glitching out on the bridges. Observer did go down. Scourge have not found it in them to take down the shuttles yet, though. There are 2 shuttles now with 3 Reavers. The main supporting army, though, for Protoss is quite low now. I think we're down to like 7 Dragoons here on the screen. Now, like, we're up to like 8 or 9. No, we're back down to 5. With pure naked Reavers, even with this level of micro here, I would be placing my money on the Hydra Scourge, to be honest with you. Looks like Purple Wave agrees with me and has pulled back a bit, but that's giving more space for Monster to consider to come out. Maybe it's also hesitant to enter this kind of meat grinder situation itself, so it's falling back for now. Looks like we have Lurkers on the way. Second Observer gets sniped there by Scourge. Very nice heads-up play. Third base was sneakily placed here, and with a Lurker to defend it. Interesting stuff. In the meantime, Purple Wave has gone up to 4 bases, so this kind of stalematy meat grinder location here has allowed both players to expand quite a bit. But the expansion rate has been benefiting Purple Wave, but the army retention and the spending, I feel like, has been helping Monster. This might be changing now, though, because of the fact that the Lurkers are not doing that well against the Reavers, but Mutalisks are out on the map as well. These bases are entirely naked. So many probes can go down here and here with no anti-air. Actually, all the bases are pretty naked in terms of anti-air coverage. The Mutalisks are being summoned back home, though. I think they're trying to bust out of their base. 4 Reavers with just shuttles. Not going to be able to handle it. No anti-air here. The Mutalisks surprising the opponent here. And, oh my god, this is so hard to see for Purple Wave, who is the defending champion. Only 2 DTs out on the map. Now, the army is so tremendously small. There's 10 Dragoons that are chasing like single Mutalisks. There are plenty of High Templar out on the map, though. Worker count is still heavily in favor of Purple Wave, 62 to 47. We heard some snipes of Templar down here by the Zerglings. Dodging of Storm again with Zerglings and with Mutalisks. Now look at that beautiful dodge. That was just incredible. But the army is being slowly rebuilt by Purple Wave. It does have a fair number of gateways. It's continuing to try to storm. It did a blanket storm here, but didn't actually manage to hit anything. Looks like the probes are going to start getting taken down here as well. Some cannons were added, but they're not in range of the mineral line, and these Mutalisks are equalizing the worker count single-handedly, 53 to 54 now. Protoss looking like it's interested in a counterattack, but with Lurkers and Sunkens here, there is quite a decent defensive position. Lurkers and Sunkens at this base as well, as Monster goes up to 5 bases. It looks like the Archons were trying to chase down these Mutalisks. The Mutalisks instead have actually lost quite a few numbers, possibly due to being hit by storms that I've heard. This base does manage to come up, so it is 5 bases for both players soon. But Monster has gained quite a lot of ground in the past few minutes here. Looks like there is going to be an engagement here. A lot of drones got roasted by that storm. The Lurker is going to continue to attack without being, without being taken down because there's no observer here. The storm is not going to kill. A storm leaves a Lurker at about 10 health, I believe. So that's why you need 1 storm, 1 Lurker shot in order to take it down. Wasting a second storm on it is generally not a good idea. Still no observer here. Maybe that roving band of Scourge and of Overlords have been keeping them away from the places where they need to be. This one lurker is single-handedly saving this base, basically. Should be noted that the worker count did fall quite tremendously. It looks like there might have been a lurker run-in or drop here. Observer needed here as well to defend the 6th base from Purple Wave, who is still quite ahead in workers, 71 to 52. But now that Zerg has established quite a number of bases, and it looks like we have drop tech as well, actually. So I think my initial suspicion was that these lurkers were dropped in here because of the location of them. They don't look like they ran around this way. And this Nexus is going to go down, back down to 5 bases for Purple Wave, and none of them are still that quite well defended. I mean, there is 4 cannons here now. Try to snipe a Templar here, and this is officially one of the closest games we had in this tournament, I think, so far. 74 to 51 workers, 51 to 35 army, and Purple Wave is continuing to hold on to a lead in both. 140 supply now, but this base is still undefended. I think that Purple Wave relies way too heavily on being able to defend its bases with just its army, when none of its army is as mobile as Mutalisks. The worker count again being equalized, 57 to 54. It's going to be needed to be responded to by Purple Wave. Purple Wave looks like it is still thinking about engaging here, but there's still no observer here. I think this lurker has healed basically back to full health. Yes, indeed. Some drones did go down here, so Purple Wave does respond by taking out some workers after losing some of its own. There is an observer there now, but now there's quite a number of Zerg units here to push it back. No, they're going to fall back instead. That storm, I don't know what it was targeting. Maybe it was a bit delayed. Where is the observer? The observer is gone, it seems like. Did it get sniped? This lurker finally goes down. Looks like it was just below the requisite amount of HP needed to survive that. Storm onto a location where there's no one left. One drone does go down, more storms, and again we see that the supporting army from Purple Wave is just not there. Where is the army located? It looks like they may have been running around defending in other locations. I do hear some fighting elsewhere on the map. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to defend here. And Zerglings and Hydralisks, generally a good match against Dragoons. This base did get taken out, remind you. More drops here. Looks like it's thinking about taking it for itself. Yes, indeed. It's going to take it as its 6th base. Yes. And still holding here. The Reavers have applied some pressure, and looks like it killed a lot of drones here. Only 38 workers now for Monster against the 65 from Purple Wave. So Purple Wave is still hanging on to that advantage in both army and workers, so it's definitely still possible for it. It's an even split right now, 6 bases to 6 bases, as Purple Wave has taken this bottom left. However, it's quite possible that with these Zerglings here as well. Let me check the upgrades. Still 11111 upgrades for the Zerg player. Definitely want to see more. You definitely need armor upgraded at 3 by this point. 3-2, sorry, for Purple Wave. Definitely the upgrade advantage here. So, upgrade advantage is going to be quite nice for Purple Wave here. It does take down the base for Monster as well. What an even game we have here, folks. Purple Wave battling to stay alive in the tournament that has won for the past 2 years. Shuttle gets taken out by the Scourge, quite nice. Hydralisk count, there's just not a lot of Hydras out on the map, despite the fact that they've been dodging storms and everything like that. Looks like this base is going to be held, though. This base has gone down and is not being attempted to be retaken. 2 lurkers going down to storm there. But the amount of sunkens there and the way that this bridge is located, it is quite difficult to push in. The Reaver walking into sunken fire. These bridges are notorious for being terrible against, for Reavers to shoot across, so it's no surprise there. This is true in human world as well. This base actually got taken out by Monster, those few Zerglings that were here that were killing probes, and now it's 40 workers to 36 workers. It looks like both players are more intent on hurting the enemy than they are on defending their bases. I mean, Monster does have more static defense at all of its bases, so it is doing a little bit of a better job. But it's also losing a lot of drones. Look at that, 25 workers to 41. It's like the difference is the same. That was a big blanket storm. I don't think that was that effective. Even the Rhinodon survived it. This base is almost mined out now. Protoss is really only on 2 mining bases at the moment, just now retaking a 3rd. Meanwhile, Zerg, because of the fact that it has been working with less drones, actually is only on 2 mining bases of its own. Now, make that 1, and soon to be... Yeah. So this is really anyone's game at this point. I mean, well, okay, I don't want to say that, because I think that Purple Wave is actually still ahead, as it has been through most of the game. 127 supply to 35. Monster really needs to reclaim some ground if it wants to win this. And we're 30 minutes in, and this game is still not over. I mean, it's Purple Wave with 100 supply now lead, which is quite nice, but it definitely struggled to get here. Let's put it that way. And I think that finally now, with the worker count being 15, looks like no, yeah, they're all burrowed here. This is going to be the end of Monster, and it's 1-1. 1-1 for Purple Wave Monster. Let me just make sure that that is indeed correct. That we don't have any surprises here. Yes, indeed. That is going to be a 1-1. I mean, we can continue to watch, but we haven't seen any mining happen here. It's just going to be a slow death, I believe, for Monster here. So I think I'm quite content to move on to the next game here. And this is going to be the deciding game to see who stays. Is it going to be the stalwart, the old favorite from last 2 years, Purple Wave, or the new upstart, Monster? So let us take a look. Final game is going to be on Icarus, with Monster spawning as the red Zerg at the 6 o'clock position against Purple Wave as the teal Protoss at the 2 o'clock position. So in these positions, Mutalisk could be definitely effective because of the fact that there is this mineral line that is close by air distance from Monster. It's one of the closest air distances that there is in the modern map. Well, of course, it's not as... It's similar to the Python air distance from main to main, but in terms of main to natural, this is one of the closest that exist nowadays. It's going to be an in-base pylon again. It did work out for Purple Wave last time, but perhaps not quite in the way it anticipated. If you recall from early on in that game, it did go for some 2 gateway pressure, getting up to 6 zealots, but kept getting pulled back by individual Zerglings, unable to strike before the 3 Sunkens came up for Monster. Monster put up a tremendous fight for a long time, got contained. Purple Wave got an economic advantage for quite a bit of the mid-game there and held onto it through the end of the late game. So even though these 2 gateways don't win, I think maybe their purpose is to, you know, generate some aggression, to scare Purple Wave. I'm sorry, scare Monster into playing 2 base, 2 hatchery type play. Okay, this thing is just not cooperating. Sorry, guys. There we go. All right, that's good enough. So it is going to be 12. No, it's going to be overpool gas, overpool hatch gas. Interesting. Could it be a 2 hatch lurker build this time? Because that gas is quite early. Maybe it's actually 2 hatch Hydralisk again. Now it should be noted that this natural is a bit harder to hold than the one on Destination, which has the 2 bridges. This base could receive more pressure from the Dragoon play from Purple Wave if it again opts to go for the 4 Gateway Dragoon, and that's kind of what it's looking like right now. We do have a gas, we do have the same 5, soon to be 6 Zealots. The Zealots might move out at this point. It looks like there was less distractions in the main base this time, though. The Zergling never actually made it in there. It's going to run out now. It's going to try to chase down the Zergling, and yeah, the Zergling is going to start running back to the main base. The Sunkens are finishing up now, but there's only 2 of them up right now. There is a significant number of Zerglings. Well, not significant, but not an insignificant number of Zerglings. And actually, the Zergling is going to bring back all the Zealots yet again. It's going to find that 3rd gateway yet again, so it should be aware of the fact that it's most likely going to be the same play as it was in the last game. 4 Gateway Dragoons. The Zealots are going to try to run forward. Hydralisk production has already started, but it should be noted that the economy is quite low. 14 workers. It is enough to produce off of 2 bases with Hydralisk, but it's not enough to do much more. No tech, no expansion. And speaking of tech and expansion, we do have Hydralisk speed upgrade first, which is generally the recommended upgrade to get first, depending on the situation. Overlord goes down there quite unfortunately. I don't know how it was hit over here. I don't know why it didn't try to run away. I feel like standing over here could have been safer. And now we finally have the pressure coming in. 6 Zealots, 2 Dragoons. Well, I think maybe it was like closer to 7 or 8 Zealots again. But no, the Hydralisk count is sufficient to push it back. All the Zerglings did go down, but the Sunken Colonies are in full health. Hydralisk Micro is going to be very strong here. This is why you get speed first. Range is almost done, though. Maybe you could have waited to get range first. Dragoon range is complete, so maybe waiting would have been advisable, but it has held that back. It's going to surround this Dragoon. This Dragoon was down without a fight, really. Zerglings are going to be very cost-effective against the Zealot Dragoon army when they're in these kinds of numbers. But no, the army from the Zerg is pushed back. A 3rd Sunken is placed. Purple Wave is deciding on how to engage. It should not engage by any means against this position. I kind of suspected that this would be a probe thinking about a Nexus. We have 400 minerals now. We should see that expansion coming down shortly, unless there's a bug out. I did hear, nope, that's the Nexus there. They're attempting to apply pressure, and I hope that Purple Wave doesn't hemorrhage as many Dragoons as it did on the destination game. That game could have gone the wrong way simply because of the amount of Dragoons that went down at the bridge there. Zerglings are trying to trickle out to get a scout off to see what's going on. Both of them go down, though, unfortunately. And Hydralisk production has been kind of slow. Zealots now running in. They take down this Sunken. Looks like this Sunken is going to get micro down as well. The Dragoons are kind of standing in the way of the Zealots, though, of engaging. Another Sunken is going to be attempted to be put down, and the attack is rebuffed. I think, even though that exchange was 50-50, I think that it benefited Monster more because now it has more of an army that can contest that space. The Protoss ball has gone so much smaller, and in smaller numbers, I do feel that the Hydralisks are going to be able to take favorable engagements with good micro here. 3 Dragoons against 6 Hydralisks. I'll take the Hydras. Yes, thank you very much. And there's, again, no defenses back here at home for Purple Wave. The production is still 5 Gateway now, actually, against 3 Hatch. We do see 3 Hatch layer this time, though, so maybe we will see Lurker aspect soon. We do see Zergling speed done. And just look at this. The army is just not that tremendous from the Protoss here. It's 2 Zealots, 3 Dragoons. I mean, granted, it is 7 Hydras, 3 Zerglings, but these trades, I feel, are all favorable for Monster, even though Purple Wave is on 2 bases now. I mean, look at this. The Protoss ball just can't seem to grow. And 3 Hatch Hydra production against 5 Gateway Dragoons, it's kind of close, I think, but it's definitely better when you already have that established ball of Protoss units. And as you can see, the Zerg is slowly but surely advancing here, and just as I say it, of course, it gets pushed back. We do see the robotic support bay on your screen. That's going to lead to Reaver production quite soon. As soon as that shuttle pops out, the Reaver could be crucial to defending this base. Looks like it's thinking about a 3rd base actually behind this. Looks like because the Zerglings weren't able to go out and deny those bases, crucially perhaps, that it is going to happen. And it seems like we've actually kind of hit like a production stalemate here between Zerglings and Hydralisks. And of course, as I say that again, the Zerglings and Hydralisks are pushed back by the Dragoon and the Zealot. 3rd base now coming down for Monster and Purple Wave almost simultaneously. More hatcheries being thrown down as well from Monster. Do we have Lurker upgrade yet? No, we're just getting our Carapace upgrade, and we do have Burrow as well. So yeah, now we have the stalemate. It's going to start here. Although this trade is looking better for Monster, that's because these Dragoons were chasing a different Zergling, and yeah, I think they're just going to keep trading. They're just going to keep butting heads somewhere in between the 2 bases, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out ahead. I mean, in theory, Purple Wave has the better economy, has more workers, got to 2 bases quite nicely for you know, a 2 gateway opening into 4 gateway Dragoon opening. You know, 2 base Protoss is ahead of 2 base Zerg. 3 base Protoss is ahead of 3 base Zerg generally. And actually, the Zerglings did manage to come out here and be cute. They are going. Wait, why aren't you attacking? Yeah. So you have to take down that base. No, look, it's not really fully attacking. It needs to. Looks like it is sending some Hydralisks up there to finish the job. Probes are transferring, so this actually might work out because of the fact that the Nexus isn't going to go down. So if a lot of probes go down here, actually no, they're transferring to this base. But if the Hydralisks find that, they could take down a lot of those probes. The army in the middle, now it has Reaver support though. It's going to come down to micro in the middle. It's going to come down to whether or not this 3 o'clock base and how many probes go down here. Or looks like Monster is thinking about engaging with these Reavers. Great spreads against these Scarabs. Neither Scarab nor Storm working for Protoss here. And this is kind of like what Zergs have really needed in this matchup, is once they have to force the Protoss to kind of fight heads up, you know, like not being able to rely on their splash damage routes, this is what can happen. Hydralisks are just so good as a straight up military unit. And when they can't when they don't eat terrible Scarab shots, and oh, the shuttle goes down with a Reaver inside of it. When they can't take terrible Scarab shots or Storms, Hydras, I think, are probably the best unit in the game for their worth and their supply. I mean, they're only 1 supply, 75 minerals, 25 gas, and both expansions from Purple Wave are now down. Purple Wave in a really tough spot. 25 workers now. It lost a lot of workers at this base. Double the worker count for Monster. Are we going to see a changing of the guard here with Monster potentially taking down Purple Wave here, the previous champion? I think that might be the case. Good splits. Has an Overlord for the Dark Templar. Dark Templar go down. Still splitting quite nicely from the Scarabs, recognizing, pre-cognizant of which Hydralisk is being targeted. That is crazy. Mutalisk is now out. There is a defensive Archon here. The Reaver is being harassed as well as the probes, and so many workers have gone down here, and with only one mineral line remaining against 4 bases for Monster, I think Purple Wave... I think we're gonna have to say goodbye to our former champion Purple Wave here in this in this series, in this tournament. The changing of the guard is real. Monster is gonna go to the losers finals to face Banana Brain, and then the winner of that will be facing Stardust in the grand finals. Will Monster be able to pull it off again against 2 more Protoss opponents? That is what is going to be interesting to see. Yeah, I am. These last 2 games have been fantastic, I think. Especially the Destination game. That was a really, really great game. But cheers to Purple Wave. You've been a valiant competitor. I'm sorry for your loss. Better luck next year. I think that everyone should be excited for the way that this tournament is going now, because we're going to have a new champion. And it's going to be one of Monster, Banana Brain, or Stardust, and I'm just going to cut it here, and we're going to take a look at that bracket. So Monster beats 2-1 against Purple Wave. So let's look at the matches that were going to be coming up tomorrow. Stardust waiting in grand finals for the winner of Banana Brain versus Monster. That is where we're going to leave it off tonight. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I hope to see you guys tomorrow when me and Nightcat are going to be casting these losers finals and grand finals matches. This has been Chode with Swaggins, Jealous from Team Liquid. Thank you so much for watching, for supporting. I hope to see you guys soon, and be healthy, happy, and I hope that everything goes your way. Take care.